Right, I'm just going to do a quick tutorial and put it on record for the people who would like a little refresher or couldn't attend the session on editing with Audacity. So I'm going to try and cover as much as I can. If I miss anything, do let me know, and I shall correct accordingly. So when you open Audacity, you're greeted with this window. When you import a track, and you are greeted with this one. And I've been playing around with it already just to get things to how I wanted them. But to begin recording, you can choose a playback device, a recording device, recording channels. You don't have to worry about that for now. And if you want to go even more in depth in this, you can choose your sample rate and your bit depth, which is this here. So the default sample rate is 44100. That's pretty standard for most softwares, even the one I use. 44100 is pretty much industry standard. It's quite good. It's not the best, but it's pretty good. 32-bit float, you can change these to lower if you have a laptop that doesn't have as much storage and CPU on it. So basically, the higher this is, the higher your audio quality will be, and the higher your mixes will be. But the more storage and the longer time it will take to render on your laptop. So if you've got a small laptop like me, probably best just to keep it as standard for now. But all you need to know is the higher the bit depth and the higher the sample rate, the higher the quality of your mix. So super basic today. I'm just going over the complete basics. So if you want to check if you are pulling levels before you hit record, you can press this little microphone and then press enable silent monitoring, and you'll be able to see here when I stop talking, these levels also disappear. This is just picking up what my microphone, my built-in microphone on my laptop is hearing. So you see there, the little blue line, that represents the loudest that you've spoken and the loudest the levels have been. See, that got a little bit louder. Basically, all you want is turn it down a little bit there, and that's all you do to turn it down. It's just this little recording level button here. You don't want it to peak, and you don't want it to get into the red. When you start getting into the red and the yellow, that is generally when you want to turn your levels down, because that leads to audio distortion, and that makes it sound really gross and muddy, so we don't want that. But generally, you want it between sort of the 12 and the 6, or between 18 and 12. Once you're happy with that, you can then disable silent monitoring because it's a little bit distracting, and then you can start a very basic record. So all you do is hit the red record button like that. Hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software, and hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. Happy with that? Press spacebar to stop the recording, or you can press the stop button here. Press spacebar to listen back to the recording. Hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software. Hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. Perfect. So we now have an audio track in our session. Some things you can do with the audio track once you have it. Say, for example, I leave a big gap here. So if I was to go to here on the timeline, and then I was to make a selection, your selection automatically plays from where you click. So click and drag to define the loop. This is also how you do looping. So if I was to push that, I'm just showing everyone how. There you go. Say if I want rid of that, I could then select it on the timeline. All I'm doing is using my mouse. If I want to move the selection, I can use these little arrow keys. That starts to go over that way. Say if I want to remove this quiet portion here, I would simply press backspace and I would delete it. Hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software. If I want to do the same here, and here, how to work the software. Hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. There you go. Get their mixes done properly. Perfect. You see there how it peaks a little bit? That's just me hitting the spacebar very aggressively. Don't do that. So, once you have a recording, also that works for, I should probably mention, if you want to delete actual speech or music or whatever, there you go there. Hello, this is my first. So we have our first recording. There are some effects I would briefly like to cover. But first I'll show you if you want to maybe zoom in a little bit. You can zoom in on the track like that. You're zooming in onto the waveform. This is not changing the volume, by the way. I know it looks like it is, but this is just simply moving it. So sorry, you need to make a selection to do that. So if you want to do that, you can zoom right in, zoom out, or you can make very minute selections. If you want to zoom right into that, you can zoom out. So this is good for if you've got little gaps. If you want to move tiny little segments like that, very delicate work, you can do so. Zooming out like that. If you want to loop a selection, shift spacebar. There you go. You can loop selections and listen to selected segments like that. All I'm doing is selecting it, pressing spacebar, preview it. If I want to make this mix a little bit louder, I can use what's called the envelope tool. And I can drag it up like that. Drag it down even if I wanted to. There you go, you see how I'm increasing the size of the waveform like that, ever so slightly. So I can also resize these windows if I want to. Again, this is not changing the volume of the mix, it is just changing the size. Hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software. Hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. There you go. So, say I'm unhappy with this and I've used the envelope tool, it isn't working. Say if I want to improve the general quality of the audio, I can go to effects and then I can go volume and compression, and then go to normalize. If I was to hit normalize, I could change it to -1 dB. Don't worry too much about that now. If I just press apply, you can see then it makes it louder. What the normalize function does is it makes it basically to where, hello, this is my first recording in Audacity, the loudest it can be without peaking, essentially. So I brought it to -1, I can bring it louder, I can bring it quieter, anything you want, but coupled with a couple of other effects. For example, if I go back to effects and I go to compression, if I go compressor, threshold -10, do that -20 for the moment. Ratio 3:1. Supply like that. Hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software. Hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. There you go. And what compressors are good for are a couple of things. Oh, sorry, I should have mentioned presets. So you can go factory presets, you can go gentle bass booster, all of these things, or you can simply just play around with it yourself. You can increase it, you can decrease it, anything you like really. But compressors are good for a couple of things. They make the quieter bits louder, and they make the louder bits a tiny bit quieter. And they also sound good when you couple them with music tracks, so it makes the voice pop a little bit over music. I'll not get too much into EQ today, but you can put what's called EQ on the voice track, which is you remove some of the tones that you don't want. So say if I have quite a deep voice, you take out the lower tones, put some high tones back in. It does make it sound better, things like that. But for now, we'll just worry about the mix. You can also add what's called a limiter, which means it won't peak even if you go above certain levels. So you can set like a cushion for yourself. That can be useful for people who are just beginning. So, say for example, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with all the effects I've put on. I would then, say if I want to import something, all I would do is go to File, Import Audio. Don't worry about MIDI and metadata, all that too much for the beginning. MIDI is used for mixing music and things like that. Say I go to my USB, which is already plugged into my device. Say if I go to UniWork, and then I go to this. So this is a project I did for uni, but it has quite a lot of music. I needed quite a lot of music for it, so it was quite a suspenseful piece as well. So you can preview before you listen. Very creepy. And then say I'm happy with that, I'll press open. And there it is. She pops up just at the bottom there. Not quite sure. The software, hopefully they can all get their mixes done properly. So see what's happened there. Because this waveform is so small compared to this one, it's zooming right out. So if I just zoom in ever so slightly, there you go. We haven't lost our mix there. All that happened was it zoomed us out to match the size of this waveform. So if you go to this, if you see this waveform here, you see it's a lot louder. Yeah, too loud. So select that. We can use the envelope tool, and we can drag it down a little bit like that, just like that. There you go. And then we go back to selection tool. We can move these tracks by clicking the top, and you get the little hand. You can move these tracks wherever you like, and you can also put splits in them if you would like. So if I drop my cursor there, split clip, didn't work for some reason. Let me try that again. There you go. So split clip. I've now split the clip into two separate things. If I want to add things in the middle, if I want to take parts out in the middle, I can do so. Very easy to do so. And say I didn't want to do that, I've made a mistake. Control Z or Command Z on Windows would. There you go. I pressed it a couple of times just to undo what I did, sorry, and now the track is intact, it's whole. You can do that as many times as you like. I think it's up to 64-ish before you run out, but you can change that if you want to increase it. But that's another video for another day. So I'm happy with this. Say for example, I want to name this track so I don't get confused. I could rename track and I could call it My First Recording. That's okay. Now we're not going to get confused about which is which. Some softwares let you change colours of clips to make it very visual, and I find that quite useful, but this software I don't think is capable of doing that. So, say I just wanted to listen to the music now, I could press this button, which is called solo. You see here how this is grayed out. I could then press play, and I wouldn't hear my recording track. I would just hear the music track, like that. If I want to turn it off, hit solo again, or I can simply just mute this track. I can mute that track, so I have to hear nothing. Unmute both of those, but generally solo is easier because you only have to press it once. So say if you have 90 tracks and you want to just listen to one, hit solo and it would mute everything else for you. So I'm going to move this up here. Like that. So all I did there was I moved the music above the voice track, and I'll show you why in a second. So if I want to preview this, I can listen to that, very creepy. I'm just showing everyone how to work. There you go, you can hear it over the top of it. So say if I want to use another effect, I would select this piece, go effects, compression, and I'd use what's called the auto duck feature. You can set your thresholds here, duck amount, you can bring it down ever so slightly, but I'll show you what it does. So pressing apply on auto duck feature would do this. It automatically detects where speech is. This is why I moved the music above the speech. Automatically detects where speech is, and it drops your levels accordingly. So if I was to preview this, hello, this is my first recording in Audacity. I'm just showing everyone how to work the software. Hopefully they can all get their mixes done. It then fades the music back up, like so. Press spacebar to stop the session. I can then delete this section of music and keep it on. You can do whatever you like. So, say for example, I'm happy with the session, I've done everything I wanted to, I would then save the project. So, save project, how would you like to save it? Save it to the cloud or on the computer. I'm going to choose computer. And then it would choose, you have to name your project, so I'm just going to call it test project, if I can spell it correctly, project. It's going to save to my documents. File type is the file type that is specific for Macs, but if you were doing this on a Windows, it would come up with a few different options. But it's saving Mac only at the minute for me, which is a little bit irritating, but there we have it. So that is now saved, and if I was to then go to my Finder, documents, test project, there it is there. But that saves as a session file, which means you can't listen to it, you can't play it back, you can't share it anywhere. That is just a session file. Say if I wanted to go back to the session, keep editing it, do whatever I liked. If you want to listen to it or share it or whatever, you would have to go to File and then Export Audio. Export it to computer, test project, and then you can see now I have far more format files. So I have a WAV file, AIFF, MP3. Don't worry too much about the files. General rule of thumb, WAV file is the best. MP3 is also fine, but it's not as safe as a WAV file. Basically, you can lose them easier. But anyway, moving on from that. So you can choose where your file will pop up and where it will save. I'm going to choose desktop just for simplicity's sake. You can choose whether it's mono or stereo, channels, custom mapping. If you want to export the entire project, multiple files, trim backspace before first clip, all of those things. Say you're happy with it, press export like that. It's going to work for you, and then say I'm done with this. I'm just going to hit close, and there we have it. Test project. And then say, for example, I wanted to open it with QuickTime Player just so we can skim a little bit. There you go. It's as easy as that. I hope that was helpful. Any more questions, just let me know, either at a session, or you can shoot me an email or leave a comment on the video, or whatever works for you. But yeah, so thank you for watching, and maybe see you again.